Well, we've all had one of those days. Well, maybe not that bad a day. But we've always taken our RZR 800 off the trail, hit some rocks, and yeah, you can see that little owie in the steering linkage rod back there. That's the rack and pinion. Yeah. Polaris RZR 800. Really good machine. 50-inch, so you can get where you need to go. And of course, right there, the big old wowie on the rim. So we're going to get into this. We're going to fix this like it's brand new. So let's get into that. All right, we'll go ahead and throw this up on a jack. And we'll get these tires off. Zip these puppies off. That way we can get to the rack and pinion. Right, now that we've got the wheels removed, let's go ahead and remove this cotter pin from the tie rod linkage here. And I really fought this bolt coming out, kind of wondering why, but this bolt took most of the brunt. As you can see here, when I get this bolt out, yeah, you can see it took most of the brunt there, along with that linkage arm. All right, let's move over to the other side. Go ahead and remove that cotter pin, and we'll remove the bolt and duplicate the process here. This side came out quite a bit better because it's yeah, nice and straight, other than the dirt and debris. Okay, right here I'm just marking the steering shaft with the splines on the rack and pinion, just to make sure my steering wheel doesn't get turned left or right and out of whack. And right there you can see that steering shaft bolt was a little bent. Yeah, still recording. Anyway, so these have 10mm bolts, and there's 6 of them, I believe 5 or 6, and they're on the backside, and the nuts are right behind the front differential. Really hard to get to, but if you take your time and get a couple wobblies, you can get that out without having to move that front differential. It takes a little bit more time. I don't know, it's 6s, but I really like this 1/4-inch Makita ratchet that I have. Works really well. It doesn't have a lot of power, but it gets in those really, really tight spots. And I've got a nice set of 1/4-inch wobblies to go with it. And right here you can see I'm just grabbing a wrench in the front and just breaking these all loose so I can hit them with my little Makita. All right, we'll go ahead and repeat from the right side. I just want to note that there is an upper bolt that sticks up against that boot, and that boot it tends to lean to the right just because of the steering input shaft is on the left, of course. Yeah, I kind of fought that, so just got to have a little patience, but you can get it. A lot of half turns, a lot of turns with the fingers, as you can see here, but it does come out. All right, now we just take a pry bar and just take that steering shaft and just kind of pry it off those splines of the input on the rack and pinion. There you go. That is one tweaked rack and pinion. Okay, you can see parts have arrived. So we kind of ran into a problem. So I called my dealer, just told him the skinny really quick, and I actually got a RZR S steering rack, which the S is quite a bit larger wheelbase, and upon going on, yeah, I had a couple inches on both sides, so that definitely slowed the process. So always make sure to tell your dealer that you have a 50-inch or an S model. Okay, now you can see we've stuck the new rack and pinion into place, and we're just taking our time. These nuts and bolts are really hard to get to, and just got to take your time and just kind of finger tighten them until you can get your ratchet in there and tighten it in place. And I took my time. I just kind of went halfway tight on both sides and then switched to the next side. That way I didn't get any kinks or binds in the rack and pinion itself. And of course, it always helps get the right size rack and pinion. It was a real bugger because I had it halfway in and had to pull it back out. I should have noticed. I just assumed. But they do make a lot of models of these machines and various sizes, so you definitely want to take the VIN number into your dealer and make sure you order the correct part. All right, on these 800s, the steering tie rod end
goes underneath the knuckle, which doesn't seem right because it looks like it should go over the top, and that'd be a perfect fit. The only problem is the the inside of the rim will hit that, so they do go underneath like so. And I'm not going to worry about the alignment just yet because we can adjust that here in a minute. I have to use my one fits all wrench here. Loosen that up. This tie rod goes in and out, so you can adjust the toe in and toe out. I believe that, yeah, because it's not the camber. Camber's in and out. So toe in and toe out on the RZR. There's also a flat spot on this bar, so once we get it, we can have this loose and then turn the bar itself to reposition the alignment. And I'll kind of show you a quick and easy way how to do that. So, like I said, these go underneath, which feels like they shouldn't. You want to just get them to the very bottom and stick your nut in, because that brake caliper is kind of in the way. And we'll impact it the rest of the way. And remember, new cotter pins. That'll work. Alright, you remember when we pulled this one apart, we got that. Bent that bolt, so we got a brand new Polaris bolt. The Polaris bolt was like $7, so pretty expensive. Yeah, I don't even think it's a grade 8 bolt, but regardless, we've got the proper length, proper shoulder. It was the correct one. We had to reorder the rack anyway, so we did it that way. So, and again, these go underneath. So you just work that bolt down to where it's about flush so you can get your bolt in.
Then we'll go ahead and lock that bolt down nice and tight. And we'll use a new cotter pin. Alright, you can see I'm applying the steering shaft to the rack and pinion splines, and I'm using my mark, make sure the steering wheel didn't rotate left or right or anything. And I'm just going to go ahead and lock that down.
Alright, you can see we've got the bolt all tightened up and locked into place. Now let's go ahead and throw these tires on and adjust the alignment.
As you can see here, I was really excited about putting these takeoff wheels. And these takeoff wheels are off a RZR 900. And of course, the wheel studs are quite a bit larger than the 800. And if I would have done my research, I would have known that.
Alright, so you can see the newer takeoff wheels were for a 900, and the actual wheel studs are a little too big, so they're, again, not going to work. But this rim is bent right here, and I was able to actually hit that with my sledge and straighten that out pretty good. I think it's pretty good. And of course, I'll talk with my friend here and see if he's willing to do that. But yeah, other than that, I think I'm just going to go ahead and throw these stock wheels on and run it.
Right here you can see I'm just turning the steering wheel left to right, make sure the steering wheel's centered. Then I'm going to go ahead and just adjust the toe in, toe out on both sides. And I'll take a measurement and I'll show you later in this video from the front of the tire and the rear of the tire, just to kind of show you what I'm doing.
Okay, I'll show you my starting point. I run this tie rod in all the way until it stops. Okay, and then I mark it, and then I'm just counting, and I'm setting both sides at 10 complete turns out. 1, 2, 9, 10. And of course, we know on these older RZR 800s they go underneath. And then I'll lock that into place, and then we'll see how close we are. We should be fairly close, and then we can just adjust it with this, leaving this lock nut loose, and then we'll just turn this tie rod itself, and that'll adjust our toe in and toe out. Okay, And it looks like we're a little towed in, but let's let this down. Put a little weight on it.
Then I have my beautiful wife give me a hand. She helps me measure this center to center distance in the front and the rear of the tires. This helps me get the toe in, toe out angle. And like I was saying, you want to run about an 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch toe out. And you can see my measurements were just a little bit off. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust both sides.
You can see we finally got it. So what I did is I went 10 out on both sides, which is probably too much. I'd recommend 6 to 7 because I had to back in the actual tie rod, probably 3 to 4 turns on both sides. And then of course I buzzed around the neighborhood to make sure my steering wheel alignment was perfect. You definitely want toe out. I would say probably 1/4 inch. Just a lot of patience, take your time. If you get it set up pretty close, you pop the wheels on. You shouldn't have to make too many adjustments with the tie rods. After you get it all in place, don't forget to lock those tie rod lock nuts down. We had a little problems with parts and stuff, so it was kind of frustrating with that, but it took us a little bit longer, but we did get it done. This thing drives straight as an arrow, just like right off the showroom floor. Actually better than the showroom floor. Thanks for watching. I'm Chris with Chris's Tech Tips. Make sure you guys smash that subscribe button. It helps my channel grow. And also leave me some comments on do's and don'ts and some upcoming builds that you guys would like to see. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next one. See ya.
Yeah, I just want to give a huge shout out to my son Ryder, who's helped me through all my computer issues and helped me with Streamlabs and video capture. You guys need to check his Twitch channel out. It is FluxGG, formerly known as AE Flow. Definitely got to check his site out. Also, I want to give a huge congratulations to my parents because they bought their first, well, I shouldn't say first, their first Can-Am side-by-side. It is a Commander 1000, pretty sweet. Here's a pit. Also, I want to mention my good buddy Doug. We did a video last year. If you haven't seen it, make sure you check it out. We did a border-to-border with his RZR 1000. He took this thing all the way to the Canadian border and all the way to the border wall here in Mexico. Good job, Doug.